Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Divorce Talk with Twyla show. I am your host. I'm Twyla M. Marks. It is a live weekly YouTube show every Monday night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. It's where we talk all things divorce. You will be encouraged, inspired, informed, and empowered. Welcome and enjoy the show. Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Divorce Talk with Twyla show. I am Twyla M. Marks. I am your number one divorce recovery expert. I'm an author, I'm a speaker, I'm a life coach, and I help you recover from divorce. Listen, thank you all so very much for tuning in, watching the show on tonight. Thank you for your support all season long. Can you believe it? It's the last show before the season finale, which will be Monday, January the 9th. So mark your calendars right now for that season finale. Can't believe the year is just passed right on. We are 2 weeks away from 2023, a little over 2 weeks away. And my show has been running since we started this thing, I believe the end of September, maybe October. We rescheduled or postponed the season intro of the first show because of things that occurred in my life. But nevertheless, you are here. We made it through another season. Thank you. Thank you so very much. Without your support, there will be no Divorce Talk with Twyla show. So let me ask you a couple of questions. Have you experienced divorce? Do you know someone who has experienced divorce? Well, I've experienced divorce, and my guest on tonight, we're talking the effects of divorce. Divorce affects your life in so many ways, y'all. It really does. Until sometimes you don't even realize the effects that it may have or it has on your life. So my guest tonight is Miss Jennifer Warren Medwin. She is a divorce coach. She's a Florida Supreme Court mediator. She's a co-parenting instructor. She's an author. And Jennifer helps people she specializes in helping people negotiate or dissolve their marriages in productive ways. And I said productive ways. A divorce can be productive. You can get through that thing and don't have to have a contentious divorce. So without further ado, let's just welcome Miss Jennifer Warren to the Divorce Talk with Twyla show.
Hi, how are you? Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, Jennifer, thank you. You're so very welcome. Thank you for being here and graciously accepting the invitation to be here, the last show of the season before the season finale. So thank you. Yes. So, Jennifer, I know we're talking about the effects of divorce, and you are all about empowerment, and I love it. I love, love, love that. So, let's just start with some of the what can you tell the people about? I know when we talk, we discuss a lot of different things, but what can you tell them about the 4 quadrants of divorce?
So, let me just start with saying, because I think it's a great place to start. My practice is called Seeking Empowerment Clarity Through Partnership. And we discussed this when we were on the phone the other day. And I want to start out by letting people know that the word empower has so many different meanings. But what are the first 2 letters, Twyla? Do you remember we talked about this?
Yes. E-M.
E-M. And if you turn them around, what is that word?
Me.
Right.
Yes.
Me. And so just like happiness is an inside job, having power and bringing it forth is an inside job. So in the word empower, it says me.
Right.
You have all the power inside of you. And it's a choice, right? It's a choice whether you are going to be a victim of the divorce process or a creator.
Right.
And I know that everyone has the ability to be a creator. So one of the things that I talk about is the 4 quadrants of divorce. Because for divorce, there's so many different tentacles. I say to my clients, it's like learning a new language. It really is. And when you're going through the process, ignorance is not bliss, right?
Right.
Knowledge is power. So the 4 quadrants are, how do you organize for the divorce process? So the organizational piece, right? Many people organize the many documents in a binder system. They don't realize that you can also create a digital folder system, and that there are also platforms that you can pay monthly subscriptions to that help you, like Detour Life, that help you organize for the process. So that's the first quadrant. Second quadrant is the emotional piece. And that is where divorce coaches really can help, because we partner with our clients to separate the business side from the emotional side of divorce, right? And the business side is probably, for most people, one of the largest business transactions they will ever go through in their life. So helping them ride through that overwhelm is really important. And I actually read something the other day, which I thought was beautiful after we spoke. A river. And rivers don't flow backwards.
Right. Yes. Come on, Jennifer. Yes.
Just like life, just like in a divorce, we have to move forward. We want to move forward in that, if this is the decision, how are we going to do it in the most productive ways? And just like a river, we may hit some rocks. We may go down a different tributary, but we're going to keep moving, right?
Yes. Right.
And so I thought that was a really great analogy. The third quadrant is the legal piece, right? So how are you going to dissolve your marriage? There are many different ways, alternate dispute resolution processes that you can go through. It's not always about hiring a lawyer, in the beginning. Maybe it's a collaborative divorce, or maybe it's mediation, or maybe it's going to a divorce coach first, so you can figure out what is the best process for the end of your marriage. And then the last piece is the financial piece.
Oh, that's a big one. Yes.
That's a big one. That is a big one. And in my book, Strategies and Tips from a Divorce Coach, A Roadmap to Move Forward, I go into detail about these 4 quadrants. And there are a series of checklists that really help you think outside the box, because the financial affidavit is a template. Right? The MSA is a template, but what divorce coaches do is they help you think outside of the box, right? Help you develop custom provisions that you might want to include that you didn't think you were able to or allowed to. Right. So that's what the 4 quadrants quickly is about.
Yes. Well, that was very helpful. And I'm sure folks that will watch the replay or that are watching it live, that's very beneficial for anyone that's contemplating divorce or going through a divorce now. And so thank you for that info, Jennifer. And, me personally, I know when I went through my divorce, I didn't have any of this knowledge or resource. I literally did not. And I just felt like that's why I do the work that I do now. Bring awareness to folks in this space through my platform and show, and bring on subject matter experts such as yourself to help people that are in the divorce space. So speaking of divorce, Jennifer, self-care is so important, right? I believe not only after divorce, but during divorce, right? Would you agree? And what can you talk about as it relates to self-care and what people should do and bring awareness to that topic?
Well, first, I'm going to tell you that, we're in a mental health crisis right now.
Yes, we are.
And burnout is at an all-time high. Depression, anxiety is at an all-time high.
Yes.
Really, how can we be like that river and keep moving forward? And part of it is, I have a framework that I talk about in the book. It's called the LEAN framework, right? The L stands for learning to let things be as they are, right? It's very hard to let go. I think
Yes.
that's tough, but learning how to let things be as they are.
I love that.
Developing an awareness, okay? That is something that we spoke about when we had our conversation, and an acceptance of what is going on and how you can take brave bites forward, right?
Yeah.
And then I skipped a letter.
Oh, that's okay. We can go back, of course.
I'm like, that's not lean. L to let it be. E is empower, and we spoke a little bit about empowering yourself. And something that I want everyone to realize is that our inner dialogue, how we speak to ourselves, our vocabulary that we use,
Yes.
does it champion your own authenticity? Does it lift you up? Right. And so in my book, I have a chapter on words that we can use to empower us. Not, for example, I need to go and exercise. Well, exercise is something that is part of self-care, and we're going to talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
And yet, when you create something as a responsibility, it's much harder to do. So I encourage my clients to use the word want. I want to go exercise. It actually raises your energy levels.
Yeah.
Okay? So let it be, empower, accept, and acknowledge. And with that, I want to bring your attention to something called the 3 A's framework.
Okay. Yeah.
You just said, you wish that you had the awareness when you were going through your divorce of some of the resources that were available to you.
Right.
And developing that awareness is 1/3 of the way to changing your behavior or to changing a situation. So you have awareness, and then the second A is acknowledgement. Can you acknowledge once you become aware of your contribution to where you are in this moment?
Yeah.
And when you're 2/3 of the way there with awareness and acknowledgement, then you can act. That's when behavior changes, and that's when you can move through change, right? So that A in lean is really important. And the N is nourish, and that's where self-care comes in.
Oh,
Are
wow.
you getting enough sleep? Are you eating healthy? Are you exercising? Are you focusing on the one thing that is always with you? And do you know what that is?
You
And your breath. It's the one thing that you come into life with.
Yeah.
And it's the one thing that you leave life with.
That's
your
right.
breath is always patiently waiting for you.
Mm-hmm.
And if nothing else, learning to focus on your breath, learning some breathing techniques.
Yeah.
There's one technique that I really love, and I find it really helpful with my clients.
Okay.
Can I share it with you?
Yes.
So when you take a deep breath in and you close your eyes, you think of the smell of a flower that you love, the scent of a flower.
Mm.
And that sort of connotation tends to relax you, and you're thinking of something beautiful that smells good. And then you hold your breath for about 3 to 4 seconds. And when you release it, you think about blowing out your candles on a birthday cake.
Nice.
Okay. And it's really, that's also a very happy time. And I know you have a birthday coming up soon.
Yes.
Happy early birthday.
Well, thank you. And it's a big one.
It's a big one, but you're fortunate, you're blessed, right? To be able to have another year. And, I always say, instead of, because mindset matters, right?
Right.
Instead of, fretting about, okay, it's a big birthday. Think about one thing that you've really accomplished during the year that you're so proud of yourself for.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have one?
I do. I have a lot.
Do you want to share? No.
Yes, I do. And that's a whole nother show. I'm going to do a show on my big 50 birthday. And you're right on track about being grateful. Part of that method you told me about the other day, the
The GLAD
The
principle.
glad method. Yes. Being
Yes.
grateful. So, yes, I love that self-care. And that's one of my favorite topics, Jen, to discuss with clients or anyone that may ask me, well, Twyla, what did you do? And how did you get through it? And all the good stuff. And self-care, I really took care of myself. I
Mm-hmm.
really did. If that was just going to, I talk about this in my book, go to a restaurant and sit at the bar and have a glass of wine, whatever. I mean, I publicly have talked about this, so I don't mind sharing. I really did. I was intentional. I had to get myself back on track before I could be the mother to my kids. If I
Mm.
was not whole and healed, how was I going to help my kids going forward? Right.
Yeah,
So
for
that's
sure.
a topic that's near and dear to my heart,
And
for
you
sure.
know, something that I want to say, something that you just brought to my attention and has made me start to think about it.
Yeah.
Part of self-care is actually checking in with yourself, because
Mm,
so many of us, especially when we're going through the divorce process and we're feeling so overwhelmed, we
yeah.
forget to check in, right?
Mm,
It's almost as if we're sleepwalking through life. And there is a technique. It's not mine. I didn't make it up, but it's called habit stacking. And a great thing to do is, when you want to develop a new habit, is to stack
mhm.
it to something that you already do. So believe it or not, brushing your teeth is a habit, right?
Right.
And you don't think about it, but it is. And so in the morning, I encourage my clients to set an intention for the day that is
Mhm,
just pertaining to them and their self-care. So an
mhm.
example might be, I'm brushing my teeth and I'm setting the intention that 3 times during the day, I am going to take 3 deep breaths. That's an act of self-care. It could be, I am going to go get a massage. I am going to go run around the reservoir. I am going to eat a chocolate bar because that really makes me happy. And although it's not the best thing for you, if it's a treat for you, that is
Mhm.
part of self-care.
Yeah.
I mentioned brushing the teeth because I don't know if you know this, that studies have been shown that when you brush your teeth, you're either forecasting the future or
Mm,
rehashing the past. You're not present. So,
mm,
especially during the divorce process, as present as we can encourage ourselves to be
mhm.
is the most helpful for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, check ins.
Check-ins.
Yes.
Love, love, love that. So, Jennifer, let's shift a little bit and talk about co-parenting.
Okay.
That is a big topic and big thing that for me, it was tough
Hmm.
until my son's father, I don't even like calling him my ex. I think that's a negative connotation. My son's father, until we became more cordial,
Hmm.
the co-parenting relationship was almost non-existent. And so with co-parenting, what do you suggest or what do you tell your clients? How, if they are at odds with one another, the divorce was not, um, it, it wasn't, it was a contentious divorce, let's put it that
Hmm.
way. And how do people mend it together after everything is over and just be the best co-parenting? It takes work, right? It takes
Oh,
work to get to the point where it's all about the kids. Remove all the bitter feelings from the divorce and focus just on the kids. But that isn't an overnight process. That takes time. So, what do you suggest and help your clients with on that?
we talk about the goal. And the
Okay.
goal is what is best for your children or your child.
Mhm.
And we have to focus on loving our children more than we dislike each other.
Oh, wow. I love that.
It is about understanding that a new relationship is being born, not
Mhm.
one of spouses, one
Yes.
just of co parents. And if our intention is always what is in the best interest of
Yes.
our child, we are able to move through challenging situations. And it takes work. It takes the 3 A's framework that I discussed earlier, being aware of how you contribute to the challenges that exist. Do you use flexible thinking? Can you manage your emotions? Right?
That is so
All
good.
of those things are really important. Are you out to win? Are you out to control? Right? And if the answers are if you are so position based, then you are not in the focusing on the best interests of the children. And there are lots of skills. I mean, I teach co-parenting and we do an 8-week class, and there are many skills that are taught throughout that class that really help you understand and learn how to communicate with each other that is the most effective. And I will tell you something that is not part of the instruction, but there is a man by the name of Bill Eddy. He is a psychologist, a mediator, an attorney, and I have read all of his books. One of them is called EAR statements, EAR. Okay. And those are statements you use with a high conflict person. And you use them to de-escalate conflict. So for example, if you're having an argument with a co-parent, most people, and not most, all people, all they want to feel is that they are acknowledged or heard, right? So often we listen to defend ourselves and not to understand. And so the EAR statements stand for empathy, attention, and respect. So if you can respond to a high conflict person with attention, with empathy, attention, and respect, you have the likelihood of de-escalating the conflict. So can I give you an example?
Yes, absolutely.
You're arguing, let's say Mark is the father, Sarah's the mother. Mark is furious because Sarah brought home their child 20 minutes late and didn't call. Okay. So Mark could defend, Sarah could defend herself. Yes, she could. Or she can use an EAR statement. Mark, I hear that you're upset. I am sorry that I brought X home late. I will be more mindful of it the next time.
Yeah.
And it really helps when you start, your response with an EAR statement.
I love that.
So that's Bill Eddy, and he's amazing.
This is awesome. I mean, wow. So I would always say right now, I'm going to say it. If anybody is in the co-parenting space, go buy that book. I guess, is it on Amazon? How can they get that book?
He is part of the High Conflict Institute.
High Conflict Institute.
I should tell him to promote my book the way I'm promoting his.
Oh my gosh. Yes. How about that?
I have to say, I've learned so many things from him. And he also has all of these books on how to communicate, which is through BIF, brief, informative, firm, and friendly statements, so that you de-escalate conflict. And it's very helpful. Even when you're going through a challenge, it doesn't have to be divorce.
Right.
It could be an argument with a loved one. It could be an argument with your child, or a friend, and really understanding that there are skills that you can develop to help you communicate more effectively and decrease conflict.
That's awesome. Wow. Love it, love it, love it. So, Jen, I know you're all about empowerment, and that is amazing. And especially now, like you mentioned earlier, everything, it's like an all-time high, not everything, but things like mental health is at an all-time high. Depression, suicide rate is probably skyrocketed through the roof. And I'm not sure if it's because of what we went through a couple of years ago. Did COVID have anything to do with it? But people are really going through some challenges as mentally, right? And so as we get ready to wrap up, what are some things that you would like to share as it relates to empowering people, letting them know to not give up, don't quit, keep running, keep doing, and your things are going to get better. I'm actually doing a call on a show on Thursday, a safe conversation, and it's going to be all relating to mental health and encouraging people, right? So
Sure. I
yeah,
mean, it's
especially
really
during the holidays, it's tough for some people. Maybe they've experienced loss and they're still grieving. And so, what can you share as
well,
we get ready to wrap up there?
first and foremost, understanding that grief is not linear. It's not a linear process, right? It
Right.
ebbs and flows. And, to understand that in no matter what our situation is, we are always at what I like to call a choice point.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Yeah.
that is that you either are, I said this earlier, a victim or a creator. And it's okay to feel victimized, about a situation that you didn't want or that happened to you. And then
Mm-hmm.
at some point, it's important to recognize that you are the only one who has the power to take those brave bites forward. And by the way, I use that instead of baby steps
Yes.
because
Yes.
a baby has no control, right? And
Right.
we want, as adults, we have control. So it's about taking brave bites forward or taking micro steps forward, and really focusing on what we can do to help ourselves feel better.
Yeah.
Question yourself, like, is what I'm doing or saying helpful or hurtful? I love
Mm.
that question because it helps to shift you, right?
Yes.
What I'm doing helpful or hurtful? What kind of help would allow me to move forward? So
Yeah.
many people, when we are feeling overwhelmed, especially during divorce, we tend to retreat, and
Yes.
it's a village, and
Exactly.
people at their core are kind and they want to help. And so reaching out to people like divorce coaches or therapists or, even exercise trainers or
Yes.
people that can help you and move you along the road, like, or along the river to
Yeah.
help you keep swimming. And if I can say anything to people, it's this: you are the boss of your process and you are the boss of your life. You are the CEO of your life. And I have worked with many clients.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone moves through it. It is not a race, it is a
Yeah.
marathon.
Yes, it is.
There's an old Aesop's fable, and
Mm-hmm.
I love to talk about it, and I believe it's true, about the tortoise and the hare.
Yes.
And at the end, the tortoise wins the race. And
Mm-hmm.
why? Because slow and steady wins the race.
That's right.
And, you just have to put one foot in front of the other and not try to
Right.
commit to doing it,
Right.
to doing it. Yes.
Yes. Oh, that is awesome. Yes, it is. It is a marathon. Just me, for example, 3 years post divorce is when things really started to feel, I felt better. And we
Yes.
are, my kids and I, we had a blended family. So my son's dad, my daughter, that's not her dad, but he raised her. But in long story short, it was the 3 year mark. And I tell people that too. Take your time. And my time is not your time. My time could be 3 years. Your time could be 6 years. It could be 90 days. I mean, it's
That's
no, there's no cookie cutter, right?
right. The one thing too that I will say, and I believe this wholeheartedly, is to listen to your inner whispers.
Yeah.
Listen to your truth and stand firmly in your truth.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
promise you, there are messages in every mess.
Mm.
There
Yes,
are.
it is.
There are
Yes.
messages, and it's about setting the intention of figuring out what they are, owning what they are, and learning from them. Yeah.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. So, Jen, how can people connect with you? I'm sure there'll be people that have watched it live and watched the replay that may need to contact you for whatever reason or want to contact you. And I wish I would have known you over 15 years ago. I would have been knocking on your door.
And you know what? There's no greater moment than right now. You
Yeah,
know, Eckhart Tolle talks about the nowness of the
yeah,
moment. And, you know, we connected for a reason.
that's right.
And, you know, we have each other now.
That's right.
And we'll grow from this moment, right? Um,
Absolutely.
I have a
Absolutely.
website, and it's seekingempowerment.com. And there are a plethora of resources on there, from articles to podcasts, and then you can reach me also through Instagram and LinkedIn at Jen Seeking Empowerment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Love it. Love it. Love it. Wow. And I got all the way to the end. I'm gonna put this on the end on the show. I'm like, oh, are you kidding me? Get all the way to the end and didn't put our banner up to show. Oh well, that's okay. We'll get it.
No,
So thank you, Jen, so very much.
you're
It's
welcome.
been a
And you know,
pleasure.
Twilight, was a saying, Geffen. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. Geffen, it stands for good enough for now.
Good enough for now. That's
Yeah,
right. Good enough for now. Love it. Love it.
right. That's
And
right.
it's been a pleasure, Jen, having you. And I'm so glad we have connected, we've met, and I don't believe in coincidences. So thank you again. And anything I can do to help, whatever, let me know. You can come on the show anytime. This is the last show of the season. However, next season will ramp up again next year. And I'm all about helping people in this space, and I know you are as well. So
Sure.
let's
We
do
need
it
to be
again.
thinking about our vision boards for 23.
Yes, the vision board.
That's all those good things that you want out of your life, because you
Yes.
deserve it. Mm-hmm.
Thank you so very much. Well,
All
again, thanks you so very much for being here. It's a pleasure. And hang tight while I end the show, and I'll come back on with you.
Okay. Thank
Okay?
you for having me. It was a
You're
pleasure to be with
welcome.
you
You're
tonight.
welcome. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, folks, there you have it. Jennifer Warren Medwin. She is phenomenal, and I hope that you gained some knowledge and you were informed, empowered, inspired, and encouraged, because that's what we do here on the Divorce Talk with Twyla show. So I mentioned earlier, this is the last show of the season, and so we're off 2 weeks. We'll come back January the 9th with the season finale. Some of my former previous guests will be with me. I believe I have 4 that will come on, and we'll share some things and wrap up the season. But I want to thank you all, the viewers, the subscribers, the supporters, everybody that has been here with the Divorce Talk with Twyla show this entire season, or actually the entire time that the Divorce Talk with Twyla show has been in existence. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, because without you, there's not a show. And so if you know anyone that's in the space that needs this show in their life, feel free to share it. Tell them to go out there on YouTube. It's youtube.com/at Divorce Talk with Twyla, and just hit that subscribe button. And there you'll have it. Previous shows, upcoming shows, you'll get notifications when I go live and all of that good stuff. So I want to say, have a happy Merry Christmas. And listen, and when we come back, it will be 2023, and you will be a new person in 2023. So move forward. And as Jen stated, that river is flowing forward. I've never seen a river flow backwards. I love that analogy, what she talked about. So until until 2023. This is Twyla M. Marks, your #1 divorce recovery expert. I am out.